This is Brian, Atlanta Hot Tub Center and Tub Talk 101, and today by popular demand, we are going to review Sundance hot tubs. Now guys, I am a Sundance dealer, right? You guys know that. I think there's a lot of great brands out there, but specifically we are going to review the 880 series and the 980 series. Now there's just a few key differences between these two series, as far as filtration goes, equipment goes, jet pump goes, jetting, all that stuff, right? It's very, very similar, but there are a few key differences between the 880 and 980 series. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna review an 880 series Aspen, okay? And then we're gonna have a cut in the video and we're gonna go into the showroom where we have a Kingston full of water up and running. And then we're just gonna talk about the few key differences so that way you can understand the 880 series, the difference between the 880 series and the 980 series, okay? So here we go. 880 series Aspen, okay? The way that the paneling comes off, by the way, it's fully seamless. There's not a screw anywhere on the cabinet, and it has 4 lighted corners to light the way at night, right? I do have it on a pallet down here, reason being for forklift for moving purposes, okay? So here we go. This corner pops off. Hey guys, there's like a little groove down there at the bottom that you can grab with your hands. So it's pretty comfortable. Pulled it off, it's no problem. As you can see, I'm not struggling with that at all. Then this front, you're gonna lift to get it up off of the hooks, and you're gonna pull out towards you. And sometimes this takes a little wiggle, and it'll drop down. And you gotta disconnect your logo light. It's just a quick disconnect. And then you're basically gonna set your panel off to the side. Now, one thing you're noticing right now, okay, is that this has a winter wrap on it. And this isn't really needed for Georgia, okay? But in your colder climates, right, this will help to insulate. Now, let's talk about the insulation first, okay? All Sundance hot tubs are a full foam insulated hot tub, okay? They're just adding this for additional insulation. So again, if you're in a climate that's much colder and it's much harsher, you start talking about Canada, because these hot tubs, right, they're sold worldwide. Facilities in Italy, Brazil, Germany, headquarters in California, facility in Mexico, right? They're sold worldwide. There's almost a Sundance dealership in every single state in the United States, and then tons amongst the entire world, right? So again, when we get those colder climates, we want to have that extra blanket of insulation to really drive down that monthly cost to you, right, for your electrical bill. So that's what this winter wrap is. Again, we don't necessarily suggest it in Georgia, right? We don't have, really harsh winters, quite frankly. But so, anyway, that's what this is. And so I'm gonna fold this up and over. And I've already taken off the front of this circuit board, right, just to make it easier. But let's touch on the electronics here. This is a Balboa circuit board. So the engineering department of Sundance and Company, they send out schematics to Balboa to manufacture us a circuit board. It is proprietary and specific to Sundance. They spent a lot of time to put that circuit board together. Guys, I do love Balboa. Quite frankly, I think Balboa makes the best electronics and has for many, many years and proven to do so. All right, so Balboa circuit board. Let's touch on systems. This is going to use Clear-Ray and ozone, okay? But the beautiful thing is they're separating them. And I do like that, right? Because you have these systems today that are ozone and Clear-Ray together. When you put them together, they're not nearly as effective, okay? They don't limit the growth of bacteria as much as they would if they were separate, right? Because these are two completely different processes. And so what we've done here, what the factory's done here, is they've got an ozone over here, right? And they got a Clear-Ray over here. And what they're doing is they're separating those processes so they're most effective, most efficient to limiting the growth of bacteria. When you limit the growth of bacteria, less chemicals for you to have to add to the hot tub. It is equipped with a 24-hour circulation pump, and the circulation pump is programmable. And I'm really big on this. There's a lot of great manufacturers that use the 24-hour circulation pump, and I truly believe in it. It's just gonna keep the water more clean and clear of debris. And those systems that we talk about, whether the manufacturer's using Clear-Ray or ozone or whatever it is that they're using, they're only working when water's passing through them. So if water isn't passing through the particular system, right, then we're not going through that process. We're not limiting the growth of bacteria. So you talk about tubs that have, multiple filter cycles and stuff like that. Only when they're going into that filter cycle are you going through that process. So I do think 24-hour circulation is very, very, very important. The motors on this hot tub, guys, and I'm going to peel this back here. The motors on this hot tub, guys, is made by Intertech. And quite frankly, I'm not a huge fan of Intertech motors, or I wasn't, okay? Let's say that. I wasn't years ago, right? Because the first generation, they just failed too quick. Second generation, they still had some issues. But now they're at the fourth or fifth generation of these motors, and I'm seeing people get a good 10 years out of them. So yes, guys, I'm a little bit old school, so I'm a little bit more of a fan of Waterway or Emerson or US Motors. But look, at the end of the day, okay, if the motor is lasting, right, and the customers are happy, and the motor is lasting, that's all I really care about, right? It's all about customer satisfaction. And you're seeing all the big manufacturers use these motors now. Watkins is using them now in Hot Spring, Caldera. You're seeing them a lot in those hot tubs. And now you've got, Jacuzzi, Sundance, Dimension One. A lot of these big manufacturers are really moving toward this Intertech motor. They are mass produced, but they're getting them quicker, right? The other thing that I do like about this motor, okay? So here's the thing. Again, guys, I'm a little bit old school when it comes to motors, but there is something that I like about the design. It's not necessarily the motor, it's the design that Sundance has put behind this, where it doesn't have an actual molded stand that it sits on. Most motors have a molded stand that it actually sits on. And so when you have a stand that's molded, that means that you have to bolt the stand down, and the plumbing, if it's just off a little bit when they plumbed it or something like that, can really be a bear, right, to plumb in a new motor. These actually have no stand, right? So all you have to do is loosen up this clamp, and you can move this motor really in this little stand down here any which way, right, to make sure that it lines up correctly to the plumbing. It just makes it easier for a customer to be able to do it themselves. Not that I'm suggesting that, however, it does make it quite a bit easier. And you don't have to worry about unbolting it down here. You can see this would be a bear to try to unbolt this or unbolt it on that side, and they end up rusting out too, right? So if you had a motor in a hot tub, and I'm sure people that are watching this video, if you own a hot tub and it's 10, 15 years old, a lot of times these bolts rust out, you got to cut them out and everything else. You don't have to worry about taking all these bolts off on both sides, just loosening up this one bolt to get this motor out. Now, of course, you got to loosen up your plumbing connections as well. All right, this guy is equipped with 3 pumps, and that's just due to its sheer size, right? It's got a lot of additional jetting. The Sundance Aspen and the Maxxis, they're both very large hot tubs, so they require that 3rd jet pump so that we can get pressure to the extra jetting in the hot tub. Guys, while I'm down here, let's talk about base and frame. Yes, this is a wood frame. It also has a wood base. So underneath this ABS plastic, there's a full wood base, right? And I think it's important that hot tubs have a base, right? Because you need something to level to, right? You always want to level the hot tub. You don't want to level the platform. Always level the hot tub, right? And so if you don't have any type of base down here to level to, you can't level it, right? So ultimately what they've done is they've put a full ABS plastic pan that covers up all the wood base. And as you can see, it's flush. You see how it's flush with the beginning of this wood for the actual framing of the hot tub. And the reason they're doing that is because they don't want this to rot, right? So what they're saying is hey, look, we want that wood base because we need something to level to. Let's cover it all in plastic so we have that added protection so that it won't rot, okay? Let's talk about draining the hot tub, guys. Drains are right here, and I do like this setup. It's 1.5 inches, and it comes with a vinyl hose, and you just screw the vinyl hose to this, you pull up this shutoff, and you drain it. The reason I like that, guys, is you can drain your tub, you can drain your hot tub, in 45 minutes or an hour, opposed to your traditional just 1 3/4 line that you're pulling out and then screwing it to a garden hose and letting it drain off of gravity, which can take, 12, 20 hours by the time you're getting it drained and you're refilling it again. A lot of folks actually drain their hot tubs overnight and fill it back up in the morning. Now, it also does have a traditional a traditional draining system. Guys, so shortcut there, we had a delivery, so had to take a minute and unload the truck. But So 1.5-inch drain, like we were talking about. It does have a traditional drain as well. It's on the right-hand side, so if you're facing the front of the hot tub, it's on that right-hand side. And you just pop off just that one corner, and it's right there clipped up to the side. And you can screw your common garden hose onto it and run it wherever you want. But that is draining off of gravity, and it does take quite a while to drain it, so I do suggest this guy. So before we get into the inside of the hot tub, just one more thing, guys, that I want to talk about. It's kind of foamed over, because what Sundance does is they kind of blockade this area from all the spray foam, all the full foam insulation behind it. And the reason that they're doing that is you don't want full foam in here, right? Because all these motors and stuff have to breathe. So we do have to have some air in here. But all of the jets here are all glued and clamped, guys. I'm a huge fan of gluing and clamping your jets. I think that's very important as a manufacturer. Really goes to longevity. One more thing they do is they use reinforced vinyl. Guys, this reinforced vinyl, guys, it just, again, if you're gonna build, like this is, a hand-rolled fiberglass self-supporting shell, everything from 680 all the way up to 980 is hand-rolled fiberglass self-supporting shell, right? So you're building this thing to last through the years, to last 25, 30 years, or what they consider to be a lifetime, right? You're gonna want the tubing to last too, right? So I do like that they have this reinforced vinyl. All right, guys, so let's jump into the hot tub itself. All right, so first things first, this touchpad up front, guys, this is just a LCD touch display. Quite frankly, it's nothing fancy. It's what you would expect most hot tub manufacturers to use today. Right here, 2 stainless steel handles. Guys, I really like this. Actually, I own an 880 series myself, and it does make it easy to get in and out of the hot tub, right? You have a handle to grab onto, and sometimes it's the little things that end up, you know, that matter. And quite frankly, these handles really do work for me. I really do like them. So, but again, personal preference. Now, if you move around the hot tub, you see 4 speakers. One there, one there, one there, and one there. If you look at the speaker, guys, you can see that once your cover goes over it, right, it covers the speaker. It keeps the speaker out of moisture. But then it also has that design in the molding to where it's going to breathe up underneath the cover. And quite frankly, I like that because it just goes to this speaker system lasting longer. Guys, in general, I'm not a huge speaker fan. Not in hot tubs. I mean, they just don't last as long as you would if you were to just put, you know, a couple of Sonos speakers outside your home. But I am happy that they went to that extent to try to get as much as they can out of these speakers. And they are marine grade, so, you know, at the end of the day, they are designed to be in moisture. But anything you put in moisture just doesn't last as long, all right? So air controls, diverter valves, right? You know, they're gonna, when you talk about your better manufacturers, again, you get into Hot Spring, get into Master Spas, you know, obviously, you know, Max is the manufacturer, Masters, Watkins manufacturers, Hot Spring, but, you know, we're all gonna plumb our pressure from our discharge of our jet pump into diverter valves, right? So we can divert the pressure from one part of the hot tub to the other, right? And it just maximizes the amount of pressure you can get. It allows you to use a less horsepower jet pump, but get just as much pressure out of some of these folks that are using 5 or 6 horsepower jet pumps, right? So it's just the right way in my eyes to plumb a spot. So here, air controls, right? You move your water around throughout the hot tub, then you use these to control your air off and on. You know, the jets you can turn individually, so you can customize your massage. And another thing I want to talk about is this FluidX jetting system, guys. You know, Sundance and family, guys, they spent a heck of a lot of money building this jetting system. They actually paid rocket scientists to do it. They paid a great deal of money because what they wanted is they wanted all their jets in their hot tubs to move left and right, to rotate, to knee deep into the muscle, to offer that really great hydrotherapeutic value that we talk a lot about, but without moving parts, okay? So no moving parts. And the idea of that is that now we've created a jet that is designed to last a lifetime, because jets in our industry traditionally, they have, you know, ball bearings to rotate, they have spines that go up and down, things like that. And quite frankly, they fall apart, they deteriorate, they stop rotating and moving, and you have to replace the jet internal, okay? Being that there's no moving parts, right, there's nothing to fail, there's nothing to fall apart. And what they're doing is they're using a venturi, which is kind of limiting the pressure, okay, and then opening the pressure to create more pressure, which forces the motion of left and right, or the rotating or the kneading into the muscle from the jet moving left or right or up and down. So, you know, again, guys, as long as you maintain your chemicals, you should never have to replace a Sundance jet, guys, Fluid X jet. So big fan of that. Moving around, you got two waterfalls, guys. Waterfall on the right, waterfall on the left. Not all 880s have dual waterfalls. When you get to the bigger guys like this guy, your Aspen, your Maxxis, they got duals, but your Optima, your Cameo, a lot of your other guys just have one waterfall. I do like it. I do like the feature. You know, look, it's a big tub, and you know, I do like to see a couple of waterfalls. I really like the sound of water. But again, each person their own cup of tea. That might not mean anything to you. All right, moving along to the filter compartment. As you can see, I pulled the filter out. It's just one big 125 square foot filter. Let's first talk about the filter lid. 3 cup holders in an ice tray. And when you're not using it for that, there is a custom molded pad that sits in here. And this filter lid, okay, this filter lid will support up to 300 pounds. Okay, so what I mean by this is once somebody gets hot in the hot tub, because somebody always gets hot before somebody else, you have that custom molded pad up in here. They can jump up here and sit, okay, and put their feet over in the water. All right, so it's a cool-off seat, cool-off bench. All right, now let's talk about inside of here. Again, I pulled this filter out. Guys, first things first, this is a skimmer rear door. This is going to float with the water level. Of course, when the jet pumps go on, this is going to sink down some, allowing enough water into the filtration system that it can handle at one time. When the jets are off and the pumps are off, this will float back up, holding the debris back into the filter compartment. Now, looking at this filter compartment, guys, you know, a lot of folks, they say, wow, man, that's a really big filter compartment. I say, yeah, I know. And it does take up a little bit of space in the hot tub. But let's talk about this, guys. All right? Let's talk about what this does. Your traditional hot tub in the industry, your filter sits upright, right? Sits upright. And the suction's at the bottom. So when you engage your pumps, you're only sucking through the bottom third of that filter. Leaf path of resistance, right? And then what happens is that gets dirty, then you got your second third, then your third third. And now you got a lot of manufacturers that'll use 2 and 3 and 4 filters because they're trying to get a fair amount of filtration. They know they got leaf path of resistance. And that's why if you own a hot tub today and you pull your filter out, that bottom half is always dirtier than the top half because the top half really isn't getting used as much as that bottom half of the filter. So the idea here, right? You got suction here, and suction here. And what happens when the jet pumps are on, we're creating a vortex. The water comes in, we're sucking through the middle of the filter, each side of the filter. We're utilizing an entire 125 square feet of filtration with just one filter. You can imagine the amount of engineering and time that went into creating this and the plumbing to really have that, right? Because Sundance said, look, we don't want to have multiple filters. We want to have one filter. We want to utilize it. We want the tub to be clean of debris. How are we going to do it? And that's how they're doing it. Another thing I want to touch on, guys, is the circulation pump, right? We have an at-ease system. It's an automatic water care system where it requires very little as far as maintenance goes. You know, you still have to balance your pH levels and, you know, you still have to add a shock packet. But, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, there's not a lot of maintenance to it. It's super easy, and it snaps in here on one side of your filter, actually, your cartridge system. So it's very easy to access and get into. It's in line with the circulation pump, and basically you just set your cartridges right, and that's it. Like the tubs in our showroom, we replace the cartridges every 28 days. We test the pH once a month, and we throw a little shock in it once a month, and that's it. And the thing kind of maintains itself. So, and that kind of ties into, you'd have to have 24-hour circulation to have the at-ease system. You have to have this horizontal filter to have that at-ease system. It kind of ties into kind of what we're doing here. So one more thing I want to touch on before we move into the showroom and we talk about the 980 series, guys, is Smart Tub. Okay, Smart Tub's a fully automated system for your hot tub. Okay, it works with Google Home, Amazon Alexa, Apple Watch, Android Watch. It's a full-on app on any device. Okay, it'll tell you when your filter needs to be changed. It'll tell you when to change your water. There's a huge Sundance library on it. You can change your filtration cycles. You can do everything that you want to with your hot tub from your app. Okay, and they're continuing to innovate it, right? Because it's on cell network. We can actually diagnose your hot tub when we're sitting at our desks, right? Because it's on cell network. We update your hot tub to the latest and greatest once or twice a year, right? To keep you up with the latest and greatest of what comes out for Sundance is the factory does like to innovate a lot. And I want to leave you with one scenario, okay? And when I talk about Smart Tub, one of the biggest things I talk about is ease of use, right? If it was 30 degrees outside, it was pitch black outside, right? And you're with your spouse, and you leaned over and said, hey, honey, I want to use the hot tub. At that point, you turn to your watch, you turn to your phone, your app, whatever, iPad, whatever, and you turn your jets on, your lights on, you run downstairs, you throw off your bathrobes, you get in and enjoy it. You're not running downstairs, getting everything going, right? It's dark, right? It's cold. You jump in, use it, enjoy it. Then from the comfort of your living room, okay, comfort of your bedroom, you're turning everything back off. So when you get out, you just throw your bathrobes on, you just run back inside. Again, you don't have to mess with this, right? So I'm really big on ease of use. I know if you guys look at a lot of my videos, I believe that if you're gonna buy a luxury product, and yes, guys, it's a luxury product. I know when you get into some of these better hot tubs, we're considering it more of a medical device because you're getting all those benefits from the hydrotherapy. But again, you want that ease of use. I just think it's really, really important when purchasing a luxury product. All right, guys, so we're going to jump into the showroom. We're going to go check out the 980 series and talk about those few key differences between the two. All right, guys, so let's round it off. Let's round off the 980 series spas, guys. Again, there's only a few key differences, so this is actually pretty quick. I want to talk about the three main differences first, then there's some smaller differences. One thing I do want to do first, though, that we forgot in the first video is talking about the 880 series lights. So Dusty, if you follow me over to an 880 series right here behind us on our deck, it's pretty easy to kind of see an 880 series when you get up here to the deck. This is how we have it set up in the showroom. We just think that it gives it an overall shot of the hot tub. But let's talk about it, right? So everything for Sundance, when they put a light in, when they do stuff, they try to do it so it's really functional, right? So it has a meaning. So you got two lights behind these stainless steel handles, right, that we talked about on the Aspen. All of these lights up underneath all of your air controls and diverter valves, they all light up. You have a light underneath your waterfall, right? You have two main lights, okay, at the bottom so you can see the bottom of the hot tub. Now, the two main lights are in the Aspen, the Optima that we're looking at now, and of course the Cameo next to it. Very popular models. They only have one light because that's enough to light up the bottom. The reason the Aspen and Maxes have that extra light because, again, it's just the sheer size of the hot tub, so they do have an extra light. You have this logo light here, same one that you would have on the Maxis. Or Aspen. When it's white, you're good. If it's red, hey, look, you know, there's an issue. You need to call your dealer or figure out what's going on, right? Because something's not right. It could be something as simple as a dirty filter, actually. But and you got 4 lighted corners. So you have a lighted corner on all corners. So that's the 880 series lighting. The 980 series lighting is a little bit different. It's not a whole lot different, but a little bit different. So that's really why I wanted to touch on it. So Dusty, let's go back and let's take a look at this 980 series that we got here and step down from the deck. All right, guys, so since we just talked about the lighting, I think it's important that we go ahead and visit the lights on the 980 series. The 980 series, they do pull some lights out of the hot tub. You do have a main light in the hot tub, right, so you can see, but some of the lights that aren't on the 980 series are the little lights up underneath these handles. So your air controls, there's no light down here up underneath all those. Instead, they give you this down light in the hot tub, in the seats there. And, you know, the idea of it is that gives off enough light so you can see those air controls and handles at night, so you don't necessarily need the lights up underneath here. Guys, you know, it's all opinion. Me personally, I actually kind of like the lights a little bit more on the 880. I kind of like having these lights underneath these handles, but you know, I've had customers say, hey, you know, I really like it the other way. So, you know, each person to their own cup of tea. And again, you do have your 4 corner lights on the 980 series as well, right? So again, the only lights that are different, you don't get these guys up here, you get the down lights in the hot tub instead. Now remember, the 880 series and 980 series, when it comes to electronics, when it comes to systems, filtration, jetting, insulation, build quality, all that good stuff, it's the same, 880 to 980, right? One of the differences, one of the key differences is this is the lowest profile in the industry per size of hot tub, right? So yeah, if you get a little hot tub, right, you might be able to find a lower profile, but you're definitely not going to find anything that's over 7x7 with a low profile like this, yet you're still fully submerged by its design, right? So there's a lot of engineering that went into this, so that way when you're sitting in there, you're still fully submerged and your body's not way out of the water, right, because it's such a low profile. part of the way that they did that is they had to make the seat molding, the actual molding of the shell surface and the seating, they had to make that a little bit more upright. Okay, so they did change the molding when they went to the 980 series, right? Because they got to get the seat a little bit more upright. I've never had a customer say, hey, it's not comfortable or it's not doing its job. We have a lot of customers who have the 980 series, guys, and they're very happy. So I do always suggest, though, you should sit in it. You should sit in a 980 and you should sit in an 880, right, if you're interested in one or the other, and really feel, you know, what best fits you. Because I'll tell you, when customers get into an 880 or get into a 980, they can normally tell really quick which one is right for them. So again, as always, guys, I always suggest getting in the hot tub, or at least a series of the hot tub that you're interested in purchasing. Okay, so you got the low profile. All right, you've got a little bit of a different skirt design. The corners still pop off like the 880s, but instead of pulling it out from the bottom with that 880 series, you actually unclip it from the top. So it pops out from the top, and then you can pull it off and set it off to the side. So it's a little bit different, but I don't think that one cabinet's better than the other. I think, again, this just goes to opinion. This is the biggest reason for me why I would pick the 980 series, guys, is this sun deck right here. This supports, this will support you. So scenario, you're in the hot tub, 4 or 5 people, you're in there with your family, somebody gets really, really hot. You know, that person can jump up on this sun deck and they can cool off while they're still spending time with everybody. Because a lot of times what happens is somebody gets hot and they jump out of the hot tub and they go to the other side of the deck or the other side of the patio, and that family connection, that family time is kind of lost. So I do like this, and I've got pictures of customers that, you know, have sent me, you know, some family time photos and stuff, and they've got 5 people across here and 3 or 4 people in the hot tub. They have a big family or what have you. It is very cool, right? They say that they really do enjoy this sun deck. And there's a cooler as well, right? So it's not just a sun deck. If you're hot and you jump up here, you got a cooler here. You have a cooler there. There's a light in each cooler. Light in each cooler. I mean, obviously, the 880 series doesn't have that light because the 880 series doesn't have coolers. But you have a cooler in each one of these, so you can see your ice cold drink. And what a lot of people do even is, like, they'll put a bottle of wine over here, or, you know, you can get some water or something on this side, and then on the other side, they'll actually put their towels. I mean, it's not a towel warmer, but it's a place where you can keep them dry, right? So when you get out, you can kind of grab them and stuff. So it's kind of cool. They can be used for storage or again, to keep something cold, because, you know, hey, they are coolers. They are self-draining through the corner, and the corner has like a little cap on it, so you do have to remove the cap on the corner, and then you just go up here and you click drain, and it will automatically drain the water out of the corner here, right? So you do actually drain it by a touch of a button, which is pretty cool. I do like that innovation. All right, so this top side display, this is LED. The top side display on the Aspen we were looking at is LCD. Okay, and the difference is this has a glass. Okay, this is a glass top side display. Okay, really to me it doesn't matter. It's not like I'm seeing one last longer than other. And people are going to use Smart Tub anyway, right? That's a full-on app on any device, your Android Watch, your Apple Watch, right? Your Google Home, you know, Amazon, all that stuff, right? So it connects to all those devices, and then again, it's an app on any device. So I never really hear anybody really using their top side display, or if they are, they're using it here and there. It's just not that often, right? They just go to their device and turn everything off and on. So I mean, guys, if you asked me and you said, hey, Brian, I'm interested in 880 and a 980 series. Why should I spring for the extra money for the 980 series? I would tell you, I would say, well, if you value, okay, that's the word. If you value this sun deck, okay, if you value these coolers and you value this low profile, the ease of getting in and out, this low profile, then I would tell you to go for it. But if you don't value this sun deck, you don't value the coolers, and you don't value the low profile, I'll tell you, I wouldn't spring for the extra money. You know, you are paying a premium for the 980 series to have those features, right? That's what the 980 series is really all about. Anyway, this is Brian, Atlanta Hot Tub Center, and this is a review on the 880 and 980 series hot tubs by Sundance. Thank you.